Like the twisted scream of plasteel shredded a layer at a time, we are the whining chain blade of what's left of your sanity. The truest voices of the pirate vox waves, 665.66 UHMR Chemrat Radio. Coming to you live tonight from Misfit Alley.
I can't think of a better place to get out of the acid rain soaking the Underhive tonight. Well, at least not a place with quite so many options.
Look, sometimes I really just want some Bolter Blackened barbecue back alley pork short ribs. I can't help it if Misfit Gen seasons are dry rubbed with something a little extra.
Oh. Well, at least we're out of the worst of it. Remember your parasols, or use Four-Armed Botanicals organic grease when outside in the rain tonight, Hivers, and avoid those tingles and sizzles. Hardline connections are down between the Innsmouth and Amity Hive after last week's Frost Hollow cave-in, leaving a few hundred feet of data link under massive chunks of ice. Noosphere traffic has already been impacted, with the Cogboys rerouting priority traffic through the Habsphere and the entertainment networks.
The added smog gives the place a pleasant and gentle ambiance for what is otherwise kind of a shithole.
Armed with a alley pork kebab slathered in sump pepper sauce, I'm your friendly neighborhood Goblin King, joined today by our ever-present voice of reason, attempting to guide us with common sense and not just our need for the snackies. It's Emmy.
What exactly is in alley pork? And did it graduate from Bovine University?
I'm pretty sure it's just the little pigs that live in the back alleys of the Habstacks, but who knows?
I can't believe they ate Wilbur.
Always finding the greatest and greasiest of street meats. It's our very own Duke of Degreasing, because he's got to help me get this shirt clean later. Drew.
Right.
I just got turned on to something real hot, something real legal,
above board?
No, not even. Below is the below board. We're talking about the illegal Underhive Smokies, if you know what I mean. They don't want you to know about them, but if you take one of your pigs, you hang them up, you blast them with plasma, just so it's charred on the outside. Real tasty stuff.
Yeah,
so it's like
sizzling pork back.
Crunchy on the outside, soft on the inside, like a good marshmallow.
Absolutely.
Hive s'mores.
It makes me think of sizzling suckling pig, which is a Chinese New Year dish that we have every year, which is literally like candied outside skin pork. Anyway, I love it. Welcome to episode 134, Horus Heresy, Watching the Galaxy Burn Part 4. As Horus has moved ever closer to his prize, the throne world of Terra, he has begun to threaten more and more of what we would consider the core worlds. Loyalist resistance at this point in the story has become stiffer. Battles are a lot bloodier and a lot more personal. Both sides have also started to make dumb and incredibly desperate gambles. The death tolls, too, as we talk about everything at this point, have climbed into the hundreds of billions. Just keep all that in mind as we keep going. But before we jump into today's episode, do you want to watch us do the podcast? You can do that by heading on over to patreon.com/Under the Hive of Madness right now and signing up to see our beautiful faces and help support the show as we make all the improvements that we can, and promise we are not buying armies.
Absolutely.
Just army.
Yeah. I showered for this, so I'd really like to see you guys come over.
You'd like us to shower too? Is that how it works?
Well, I can't, dictate. I can't demand that you shower, but, I recommend it. I think it's cool. But yeah, I showered for this. Please come watch.
I'm going to start doing an AdMech 30K army because I can't help it. And I need to show you guys my progress in the podcast here, so you can come along with me and see the really stupid robots that I've painted. And
yeah. And as an AOS girly, I will be painting and assembling Party Tit Marathi, so I can't wait to show you guys.
Yeah. So join us on Patreon if you guys want some exclusive looks into our hobby progress and some other stuff. We'll have a little bit more on it later. But to jump into 009.m31 as we lead up to the end of watching the galaxy burn. This is going to be our last Horus Heresy episode in this set, because the next event we are going to cover after today's is the Battle of Toleron. And the Battle of Toleron may in fact get its own standalone set of episodes, just because it's such a massive conflict. But we do want to bring you guys a little bit more content, a little bit more on that here towards the end of the episode. But Emmy, do you want to start us off with this amazing quote?
Sure. The Emperor claimed there were no gods, yet when the galaxy descended into madness and bloodshed, I heard their laughter echoing across the void. Their mirth was for a golden age consigned to dust. Gone was hope and unity, displaced by avarice and treachery. No longer can I weep for the dead and dying, for my tears are long spent. No longer can I scream at the horrors laid bare before me, for my mind is numbed by torment and pain. I can only echo the laughter of our tormentors, for I see the future laid out before me. Even in victory, we are doomed. Mankind will succumb to paranoia and be overcome by ambition and greed. One day, be it tomorrow or in a distant millennia, we will fall silent, and only the laughter will remain. That was the final testimony of Susanna Trill, Soulmeister of the Astropathic Choir of the 14 Halls, given shortly before her execution for grand sedition.
I love the title. Like, the full titles of some of these people are great.
I want to be a Soulmeister. That
also,
sounds fucking dope.
The last paragraph there, was that talking about now or the future?
This is
Yeah.
So a lot of our resource for today's episode has actually come out of some of the newer releases, including Legio Imperialis and some of the more recent Titanicus releases. And just to let you guys know, as you're listening on to this episode, we are recording in the year of our Emperor M2. This is you can't even say 2024. But all of the lore that we're covering today, if you're encountering this episode in the future, this is the lore that existed in these conflicts as of 2024, the end of 2024. There is probably a really big Horus Heresy and a really big Legio Imperialis release on our future doorstep, and some of this lore is probably going to get a little bit more fleshed out. But we're here to bring you guys a complete picture and cover everything. And we're going to jump into the Doom of Moloch in 009.m31. The traitor hosts marching on Terra reached the night world of Molech, the scene of a significant victory during the Great Crusade. The world was then heavily garrisoned for reasons known only to the Emperor himself. But Horus would become aware of the planet's significance. He did this by regaining a memory that the Emperor had chosen to erase in his mind, revealing that the planet hid a gateway to the warp that his father had used to obtain power. Desiring to take that power from himself, Horus set his sights on Moloch. And if you remember earlier, when we talked about the Unification Wars, we talked about Moloch and the fact that the Emperor and several other people flew to the planet of Moloch, made a bunch of deals with the knights and the Titan houses that were there, and then or the night houses that were there, because it's a night world, and then blipped back through the warp gate into the Imperial Palace. So a little bit of this goes back to the fact that this Moloch factors into the Emperor's warp way project. The night world was a significant seat of imperial power, as the Emperor had left behind a substantial force to protect its unknown warp gate. A detachment of both Blood Angels and Ultramarines were garrisoned there. On top of that, there were 3 Titan legions, over 100 Imperial Army regiments, an Imperial Armada battle fleet of 60 ships. And last but not least, the planet's many knight households stood ready to face the War Master's ire, a coming onslaught of Sons of Horus and Death Guard traitor legions. Horus's forces smashed aside the world's defending battle fleet, captured Molech's orbital defense platform, and then turned them loose on the loyalist ships. Cities were vaporized under orbital bombardments. At the same time, the wreckage of Battlefleet Molech was redirected as it entered the world's atmosphere, weaponized to unleash global tsunamis. With the world's air defenses ravaged, the traitor ground assault could begin. Horus landed at the island of Damask, walking the Fulgurine path, which was said to have been the same route the Emperor had taken when he had first set foot upon Molech. There's some.
I sent a funny meme.
I did. I like that a lot. That's a good meme.
Specific to this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got Abaddon on the cover of the 13th Black Crusade, Codex, and I get the Galaxy So Nice They Burned It Twice. It is good to hear the Emperor being like physically present at this point.
Yeah. He's a little too much of a delegator at times.
Well, he's still on Terra at this point. This is just a planet that he had been on.
Excuse me, Horus. I mean to say,
Horus. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Horus. That we're like hearing direct accounts of the top players, both the Emperor and Horus,
right?
Like doing their thing now, as opposed to like here is some like tertiary character off in the corner of the galaxy while this goes to shit, talking about like what Horus is going to do and maybe what the Emperor is going to do. Yeah.
I just finished reading False Gods finally.
Nice.
Finally. And yeah, there's so much in the book that's just kind of like the Mournival and others just kind of like waiting around basically for Horus to like show up or do something.
Yeah.
Until like they go to the moon of Davin and obviously he like goes crazy
a bunch of stuff happens. Yeah.
Yeah. At that point the book, like, small aside, I think the book, there's the pacing of it just kind of goes crazy from there. And the second half of the book just kind of was like, okay, and now the Horus Heresy happens because I had a vision while I almost died, and now I must commit heresy. Fuck you, Dad. But yeah, Horus himself doesn't show up enough, and I'm glad that we finally kind of like have our eyes back on him.
I have a very Abaddon perspective on Horus. That's the way to say it, I think, appropriately.
Okay.
Here comes Mr. Black Legion. Here we go.
I think Horus died on Davin. I think the thing that came back from the meeting with the Dark Powers was what they wanted resurrected into Horus's body. I think that they kept the parts of Horus's ego that they could manipulate, and that's what returned. I think the Horus that we think of, the War Master that we think of from Olenor, is dead by the end of False Gods. And as you continue to read the Horus Heresy books and get into the Siege of Terra, you'll get more into Abaddon's head. And that's very much, again, this is very much an Abaddon opinion. This is how Abaddon looks at Horus during the siege. He's like, you are no longer my War Master. I don't know what you are, but you are no longer my War Master.
Yes. So. They've already kind of gotten into it. Galaxy in Flames is on its way. I have a copy coming, but it's coming from the UK, so it's going to take me a little bit for it to physically get here, but that is up next. I just wanted to say also as a very quick aside, the way you talked about how like Horus, they took what was left of kind of like his key personality functions, but it was something else. There is a very long and very elaborate conspiracy theory about something very similar happening to Miley Cyrus.
Yes. Yeah, or Amanda Bynes or Avril Lavigne. Avril Lavigne. There we go.
Yeah, but right when Miley released the Bangers album and she got that like very like short blonde pixie cut, they were like, this is the moment that she got that haircut that the demon went inside of her. And that's why she ended up grinding on Robin Thicke with the fan finger at the VMAs.
Right.
That wasn't actually Miley. That was the demon inside of Miley. But then she grew out of that haircut. But then Katy Perry got the same haircut, released a horrible album.
It's the demon from the movie Fallen, but instead of killing people, it makes bad pop music.
Correct. And that was the year that she did that Dark Horse song with Juicy J, and that horrible song about like playing basketball in space, but it was horny. It was like the horny Space Jam music video, if you guys remember that one.
The Alien song
No.
that she did with Kanye?
No, that was the album prior, or 2 albums prior to this one.
Okay.
Someday I will remember
Guys,
the
don't
name.
Google horny Space Jam.
Yeah, it's like the Katy Perry.
Unless you want to go down the really weird rabbit hole of cartoons and cartoon clothing logic. Like Bugs Bunny is naked except for gloves, but Babs...
Swish Swish featuring Nicki Minaj from Witness.
Oh, wow.
Witness was Katie's worst album. This was 2017 when the demon, because she put out Chain to the Rhythm, Swish Swish. It was just her worst album.
I'm just hearing from Emmy that Horus's soul is in Katy Perry.
Yes.
It left Katy Perry.
Oh, who's it in now?
She's okay now. It's in Demi Lovato now.
Oh, okay.
She's singing songs to ghosts on Travel Channel. She's completely jumped the shark. She's not okay. But whoever it is, whichever pop singer has that horrible blonde pixie cut.
Got it. It's Horus.
That's Horus. Yeah, that's Horus. Yeah.
Okay. It all makes sense
like,
now.
They're like, I'm going to release a terrible album. But Horus was like, I know. I'm going to go to this planet called Istvan 5. Have you guys ever heard of that one? And then they're like, oh, the Istvan system seems super normal and not completely sus. And then they go there. Yeah, that's what happened. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. There's a t-shirt I want. I can't remember what it says, but it says something like Visit Sunny Istvan 3. I really want
sunny.
It's a blue shirt and it's like a really pretty picture. When I find it again, I'm getting it.
Oh my God, I need that.
From Damesk, the War Master launched a massive amphibious landing, targeting the beaches of Avedon. His forces took the landing in a bloody battle with the House Divine-led resistance, which cost both sides dearly. In fact, during the battle, Horus was badly wounded by a knight piloted by Raven Divine, only being saved by the intervention of the ruinous powers. So this was
Raven Divine is a drag queen, and you cannot convince me otherwise that Raven Divine would be an incredible drag name.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Here I was going to make a point. So here's the second time where Horus is essentially killed. And the ruinous powers are the only reason that he's brought back to life. In the aftermath of its fall, refugees fled Avedon, desperate to avoid the traitor forces. The loyalist Legio Fortutus sacrificed themselves to buy these refugees time to flee. So an entire legio of Titans went down in order for the refugees to leave Avedon. There's also very heavy...
If you're not familiar, a Titan is really fucking big. There's a knight, and then there's a Titan. You said 300 of these Titans?
3 Titan Legios.
3 Titan Legios.
And a Titan Legio generally has about 12 Titans in it. There isn't really like a solid number, but just assume there's about 12 of these like massive robots that died to the Sons of Horus and the Death Guard in order to get these refugees off this beach. And this very much has World War II vibes, like D-Day landing vibes, because as Horus is hitting Avedon, Mortarion is hitting Ophir, which is another beach, with his forces. So as Avedon was claimed, the traitor armies flowed across from Damesk. Mortarion, at the same time, landed at Ophir, his advance tearing up the ground as he moved on Molech's capital of Lupercalia.
Lupercalia.
Yeah, right. Legion,
that's some artifacts from the Crusade, huh?
right. That's definitely like, did Horus help liberate Molech? Yeah.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Legionis Astartes from the Sons of Horus and Death Guard joined by the forces of 4 Titan legions at this point. So 4 traitor Titan legions land. The demonic swarmed amongst the War Master's forces as well. On top of that, the demonically resurrected Ignatus Golgor destroyed thousands of kilometers of previously impassable forests with the Life Eater virus that had been fused within him. Beasts fleeing from Golgor smashed into the primary loyalist defense network, the Preceptor line, giving cover to the traitor forces as they advanced. It's just mass chaos. And this dude, this Ignatus Golgor, is a model. Like this is a demon
he's
prince you
dope.
can buy.
Okay,
Yeah.
I like his cool sword.
He's got a look.
He's definitely got a look.
Once the traitors overran the Preceptor line, they targeted Molech's western marches, overrunning the jungle and farmland flooded by the tsunamis brought on by the destruction of Battlefleet Molech. The Loyalists then, led by House Indra and House Caskix, managed a token resistance at the plateau city of Lista, ultimately becoming overwhelmed by the traitor titans led by Legio Crucis, Legio Volpa, and Legio Volcanum, even as the Death Guard overran the city of Imperatorum. There's definitely lots of Nepo baby city names on Molech.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a night world. Night worlds are just sort of like Nepo Baby the musical. All of them.
Is that like the 4th sequel or the 4th Wicked movie? Nepo
Yeah,
Baby the musical.
well, it's like the train one on the roller skates, and they're all like in the Titan costumes. What is that one
Oh
called?
my God.
Midnight Express.
Oh, that's
Starlight
awesome.
Express.
Starlight Express. Yeah,
But in
so it's
Titan
like
costumes, I
it's
really
like,
want to see
my
Titans on
4th
ice.
great grandfather was the pilot of this robot. Now I have to put this thing on, and then the ghosts will scream at me, and then I drive the mech around. I don't know. That's the exposition number, like before the invasion. It's a work in progress. Legio
dig it.
Titanica, the musical, is still
We're shopping it around.
we're shopping it around. Yeah.
So here we have Ignatius.
Yeah, he's got this really interesting like blunted executioner sword that's just wrapped in chains. I remember this guy as a metal model. I don't know if he has a new model, but he definitely has a look. He's got that one like crazy bulging eye. If you're familiar at all with demon princes of Nurgle, Golgor, Ignatus is a demon prince. He's one of the he's one of the white metal demon prince models. Do you remember this guy, Drew?
Hit bashed
very
a
much so,
custom
yeah.
demon Nurgle prince once.
Ooh, I'd like to see that.
It's like my 4th ever video on TikTok.
Nice.
I took one of those.
I remember. Okay.
I took one of those Nurgle drone heads, like the bug heads, and it's not that much of a kit bash, but I just swapped that head for the demon prince and then painted it all like green and gross. And
That's awesome.
I don't know. I put the Trogdor song behind it because he's got the wings, and I don't know. People thought it was very entertaining.
Trogdor burning
all the peasants.
Yeah. I also like that this Galgor guy has the Life Eater virus like infused into his body, which I have questions because it feels like he must have been killed by the Life Eater virus. Drew, you got a thing?
Well, I do want to mention that apparently, according to the good people at Reddit, the reason why he has a horn as a demon prince is because he really wanted to be like Typhon, and Typhon has a horn on his armor, both like pre-corruption and post-corruption.
Got it. So you had to follow Boss. Boss has one. I want one.
You want to look like Dad.
Yeah.
My weird space dad's got a horn. I want to have a horn.
Right.
Yeah.
The horny
weird,
boys.
Weird space dads with horns. Like that is chaos. Why are they have so many horns? Where do they come from?
Well, that was the early way that they differentiated Chaos Marines from normal Marines, as Chaos Marines just were Space Marine sculpts with like spikes and horns
on them. Yeah.
That's true. Spiky bits.
Put some more spiky bits on them.
Yep.
Yeah. That's
Make them
true.
look scary.
And then to make them Nurgle, just make them bone spikes and you're good to go.
Yeah.
That's true. There's a character in Naruto. Nope.
That's it.
Okay.
This is your one. This is your one. No, I'm kidding.
Kimimaro. Kimimaro is a very good bad guy in Naruto, and he has special bone jutsu, and he can like extend parts of his skeleton, like his rib cage and his shoulder blades, like out of his body, and he like fights that with like his rib cage.
Which is very much like the X-Men character
Yes.
Marrow.
There he is. This is freaky makeup.
Yeah, the
See?
X-Men character Marrow is almost identical.
Marrow. I was going to say, I'm thinking
Marrow,
of
yeah.
100% thinking of Marrow.
See, there he is with his weaponized bone spikes. He is a Chaos Space Marine because he's got like the curse mark too. Like he's
thing
very
on his chest.
Yeah, he's like the Orochimaru, who is the weird. He's the Fabius Bile of Naruto. He does like weird, quasi-moral, quasi-ethical, not even immoral and unethical.
I don't think Fabius does anything moral or
neither does Orochimaru. Let's be real. Both of them do immoral, illegal, and unethical human experiments to basically like augment genetics and like make horrible abominations that fight for them. And this like curse mark that Orochimaru sticks on all of his human experiments, when they go into curse mark mode, then they can do things like fight with their rib cage. It's pretty freaky stuff.
There you go.
Okay, there's my one.
Very cuddly.
That's my one Naruto reference for today, guys.
But
I might get more in.
Drew gets an Evangelion reference, and I get a
Guyver.
I don't know Guyver enough.
I know Guyver.
Drew knows Guyver.
I love Guyver.
You get the Guyver reference. I'll get the Neo Genesis Evangelion.
I really like the idea that this guy is a walking just the anti-life life equation from DC Comics. Like he's the worst virus that's ever happened, and he's just also a man.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. Good old Nurgle boys.
Yeah.
Good old stinky Death Guard.
Also, I'm assuming that the Titan legions and stuff are like the ones that are being destroyed at this point are things that like we probably never have seen and likely will never see again. Like, there's stuff that's being blown up in these planets that like has been lost to time.
Yeah.
In these battles.
Or they do have. So a lot of times, we've talked about this a couple of times in the past. A lot of times the Legion has like Titans in service or being serviced by the Mechanicum. So as an example, we do have Legio Fortutus artwork. We do know what they look like. We do have rules for them. And now whether or not that lore and those rules are specifically meant to be used with the 30K games, whether or not it's Legio Imperialis or whether or not it's Horus Heresy, is yet to be seen. But the lore very clearly specifies that like at any given time, there's like 5 or 6 that are being refit at a like local Forge World. So even if the entire Legio gets deleted, there's a chance that there's like 3 or 4 functioning ones somewhere else.
Right.
But I think in a lot of cases, especially with these larger battles, when they say that somebody's elitist, they're just fucking gone. The Harry Potter spell is elitist.
Right. Soon after, House Divine's Dawn Citadel fell. The Space Marines fought valiantly, but were annihilated by the sheer number of traitor Astartes. The demonic entity formed from the distilled rage of the presumed dead brother Captain Tagus, the Red Angel, swallowed the Blood Angel's garrison and unleashed the Red Thirst in so many battle brothers. Only a small force of Ultramarines remained, forced to wage a guerrilla war. It was thanks only to the efforts of the Imperator Titan, Paragon of Terra, that a total Imperial rout was avoided. Then, the Death Guard and Sons of Horus linked up. Horus greeted Mortarion in preparation for a final push on Lupercalia. However, the War Master still had a final card left to play before they marched. For months, the insidious whispers of Slaanesh spread through the fatigued ranks of House Divine. The demonic powers of Fulgrim strengthened in this effort. Divine's officers had become lethargic and interested only in their sports, using their mighty machines to hunt down the wild animals of Molech. They then began to meet in secret cabals, committing depraved rites and ceremonies within the heart of the Loyalist camp. Sounds like heresy to me.
Oh yeah. And this is that 4D, we talk a couple of we made the joke that Horus is playing 4D Regicide when everybody else is like playing checkers. This is one of those cases. This is not something that just happened when they got to the planet. This had been planned years ahead of time.
Oh yeah. The Knights of House Divine would betray the Loyalists when the massive ground offensive against Loyalist forces centered around Lupercalia began. Even as the War Master directed the captured star fort Bar Zerba, it's got some EVE Online energy to it for some fucking reason. In a devastating orbital bombardment on the Iron Fist Mountains, annihilating the impenetrable fortress keeps of the Legio Crucius, the Traders of Divine then overwhelmed and destroyed the Paragon of Terra, leaving the Loyalists trapped between the advancing enemy and the renegade knights attacking from behind. It wasn't long until the forces of chaos punched through the Imperial lines, blocking any routes of escape. Of the Imperial host, only 1 out of 100 survived the campaign to board the refugee ship Molech's Enlightenment. Horus deliberately let the ship go to spread the word of the terror he would bring to all the followers of the Emperor.
It's a very Davy Jones move right there.
Oh, super Davy Jones. That is
motherfuckers,
so
the bad guy from Mulan.
Yeah.
Oh, Captain Shanmu.
Yes.
Shanmu. What a dick.
Sean.
What do you mean? That he's in my White Scars army.
He's such a good bad guy.
Not that that's what they're coded after or anything, but
no, not
wait a
at
minute.
all.
I thought the things that attacked the Great Wall were were tiny wingless dragons that were fought off by Matt Damon and Pedro Pascal. Are you telling me that the Great Wall wasn't built so that Pedro Pascal and Matt Damon could defend it with their great archery skills?
No, it's there to stop the
Am I
alien.
really the only person who's seen that movie?
Well, I haven't seen it. No,
I also watched it in China.
That's interesting. What did the good people of China think about this film? Like, they're like, oh, finally, Matt Damon is giving the attention that the Chinese film audience deserves by, like, I don't understand. Like,
so that film came out of the like pre 2017, 2018 China, Hong Kong / US movie studios working together. And it was one of those things where like the idea sounded really cool and they got Damon and Pedro on board and then they started filming and Damon was like, oh God, the Chinese screenwriters whitewashed the shit out of this movie and my character. I did not know this is what I was getting into. So this is one of those cases where it wasn't Hollywood whitewashing, it was specifically China whitewash. But yeah,
I think it was like they were trying to pander to like an American audience a little bit, or like trying to make something that was like akin to an American action film, you know?
Yes. And it did. I mean, internationally, it did really fucking well. Because a lot of the movies that don't do really well over here for one reason or another do fucking massive numbers specifically in the Chinese market. But yeah, anyway, I just had to get my Great Wall joke in there. So the Red Angel, to be specific, is not Angron. The Red Angel is a blood angel who died on, or they thought died on, Murder. And Murder was the planet with the mecha arachnids. So you would have just
Murder with the robot spiders.
Yeah, with the robot spiders.
Seems very normal.
So this is one of the blood angels that died on that planet. And then he was brought back with the woo-woo, with the chaos woo-woo, or he was corrupted with the chaos woo-woo. And he's one of the people that like he can just like There's a power in Vampire the Masquerade called Majesty, where if you're in a room or you're in a scenario, you can activate Majesty and everybody immediately like kneels or backs up. They all venerate you immediately because they're in your aura. So he's got an aura, but his aura is red thirst. And now a lot of it, we'll get into the red thirst at a certain point. The red thirst is a lot worse after Sanguinius died. The red thirst becomes a lot worse and becomes called the Black Rage after Sanguinius died. But the red thirst was something that existed before Sanguinius was involved. And that's really important to kind of know.
It is his curse. It is Sanguinius' curse that he passed on to all his progeny. Curse. Yeah, and he feels guilty about it. Yeah.
Thanks, Dad.
It's a weird mutation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Along with his wings.
Like the Emperor, when he was like going through, he was like, we will make one that is as loyal and as fierce as a wolf. And we will make one as powerful and resilient as a dragon. And we will make one that is just kind of two smaller ones. And then also...
this one is a vampire.
I feel like I'm running out of ideas.
Really pretty one. I need a really
this one
pretty
is goth and a terrorist.
One. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He's hot. He drinks blood. He's new in town. Like it just at some point you're like, what were you thinking?
Who's good at forts and building stuff.
I mean, that's fine.
And here is my son who's good at kicking over other kids' sandcastle.
What does this one do? Oh, this one drinks blood. What? You know?
Well, so there's definitely, I mean, so Warhammer 40K is absolutely steeped in Catholic and early Protestant iconography,
Reformation type iconography,
and Sanguinius is definitely the "here is my blood, drink of it" character. It's referencing the Holy Eucharist, the idea of like turning the wine into the blood of Christ, and it's very, I mean, like down to the cups that they
here
carry.
Is my body.
Oh yes. Take of it, and
take a bit your flesh. Yeah, exactly.
I imagine he shudders when he does, like he shudder pets. He's like,
oh, does he do like the sideshow Bob noise with the rake?
Oh my god! So just know the end all be all here is that the Red Angel does not reference Angron. It's another person, and it can be confusing, but
it's also not the character from Star Trek Discovery season 2.
Oh yes, that's important to note.
A different Red Angel as well. The War Master's attempt to gain powers of the Emperor was apparently successful as he stepped through the gate and emerged once more, stating that he had acquired the secrets he had wanted. After the protracted conflict, much of Molech lay a smoldering ruin and was left to the Death Guard and Emperor's children and their supporting traitor Auxilia. With resistance shattered and sporadic, House Divine would move to gain absolute control of the planet. Scattered skirmishes between the Scions of Divine and others and smaller households continued for much of the war. In the aftermath of Molech's doom, loyalist captives held on the vengeful spirit would break out, and a battle between the Knights Errant and Sons of Horus spilled across the War Master's flagship. Horus would be attacked in another assassination attempt and face down Gavriel Loken once more. However, Lacton Kurz died. I could no. That's an I.
That's a cruise. Iacton.
Iacton Cruz.
Yeah, Iacton Cruz. Iketon.
However,
I think it's Iketon. Yeah. Anyway.
However, Iketon Cruz died by the War Master's hand. Their task failed. The Knights Errant would only manage to escape aboard the stealth ship Tarnhelm.
If you guys remember when we covered the Knights Errant in their 2-part series, we talked about this battle from their side. We got a little bit more deeper into it.
Yeah. So like Horus is the inference here. It seems to be like time. Like we talked a little bit about this, right? Like The concept of becoming a demon prince instead of becoming just possessed by it. So, like, the
Yes.
first time we sort of see it happen, or we become aware that this is a thing and how it's unique, is with Angron, because so
Right.
much of Angron is gone. The
He's an
ruinous
empty
powers are
vessel.
like we can
Yeah.
like rebuild him essentially. He is not being possessed by something; he is something new, but he is fused with the powers of the ruinous powers. It seems to be that that's what's happening here, right? That Horus has survived and he's being elevated in a way. He's being infused with these godlike powers, and it would sort of account for him not being himself anymore, and not to the point of like this sort of like the conspiracy theory of, well, maybe it's just not him at all. I think he is becoming something, and I think he has no control over that anymore, that he is
Right.
progressively losing himself, but I don't think he's necessarily being possessed by another being.
Well, so Abaddon's theorem was essentially that the redeemable qualities that made Horus the War Master were gone. And
They had like
it's
carved that out.
yes, they destroyed that part of his id. And
Yeah.
it's important to realize, even at this point, so there's two major things at this point in the conflict that have happened. The first major thing is that Drew just brought up, we have demon primarchs. They exist. And demon primarchs are less powerful than a ruinous god. They're less powerful than one of the chaos gods, but they're more powerful than a demon prince. And they're on the level, there are demonic entities that are on the level of a demon primarch that are not demon primarchs. Be'lakor would be an example.
Yeah.
Yes.
Scarbrand would be an example. There are examples of things that are just as powerful as a demon primarch, but just to kind of like force continuum it out.
But
so
again, in many of those instances, those characters that we're talking about, again, are not just like, it's not simple possession. There has to be some kind of like transformation.
They're more fused or
Yeah.
symbiotically linked.
Yeah.
The other thing that's happening at this point in the heresy is that there are demons on almost every battlefield at this point. The chaos side, the traitor side, is becoming the chaos side. They are able to call on these entities when they need help. However, there is a core contingent of traitors, Abaddon being one of them, who are still in it for the original reason, which was the Emperor is not fit to lead us. And it takes Abaddon years into the scouring to realize that his like death warrant, if you'll say, his path was signed without him realizing his path was signed. And that's what makes Abaddon kind of an interesting character. And like, I realize I fanboy about him a little bit. He is a little Mary Sui, and I think he's Mary Sui for a reason. Abaddon is the biggest bad in the galaxy in 40K. He's supposed to be the worst.
He's a cool guy.
Erebus, okay, I haven't, again, I've read the first.
Well, I'm saying 40K.
Okay.
Yeah, by 40K.
Oh, 40K.
By
30K though.
Yeah, by 40K, Abaddon has everybody on a leash and they're all at his heel. Like
That's
everyone.
true.
Everyone who's in chaos. Abaddon controls the chaos gods in 40K. Like that's the level that he's at. Now, does he do it without right might? No. And we'll get into it. But yeah,
absolute wiener.
Yeah. Abaddon is a very Mary Sui character, but it's for a reason. And the reason is he's supposed to be, I think what happened, if I'm in a tinfoil hat, we're stepping out of actual lore, I'm tinfoiling hatting here. I think what happened was the idea of Abaddon pre-exists the idea of Horus and even the idea of the Traitor Legions. I think Abaddon was the original bad guy that they came up with. And because of that, as they've built everything around, they just made sure Abaddon needs to continue at some level to be the worst bad guy in the modern game.
He is the anchor being in the timeline.
Yes. Abaddon is, yes.
They set themselves out a trajectory when they said, because they started from, as you say, from point zero being, we're writing the story of the game right now, and this is the chief bad guy. We
Right.
need a chief bad guy, and this is who it's going to be. It's going to be this Abaddon guy. The minute they created that trajectory, though, is when they said, but 10,000 years before that, this is the inciting incident that
this
led
was
to
the
this
bad guy, right.
being the bad guy. So, like, then that means that by virtue of that, you have to set out his trajectory. You have to give him an arc that is deserving of him being such an important character later on.
And
They painted themselves into that corner with him. They had to.
And we see echoes of that with the anchor bad guys of every other faction. Gilliman would be the Space Marine one. Gazgul would be the Orc one.
Yeah.
Right.
And that before you talk about, the Demon Primarchs and all that, they kind of came later, or they've kind of come later. They're coming back, or however you want to look at it. But there's a core set of guys that have always kind of been around that are kind of like, I guess Gilliman wouldn't be. Who would
Calgar.
Calgar, yeah, Marius Calgar.
Calgar's model goes all the way back to like 1989 or something. His very first
I like
one.
his cool fist.
Old One Eye would be the Tyrannid one. Calgar's bloody fist. There's just quite a few you could even make the argument that old Bale Eye, what's his actual name? Yarick is the
yes.
Yeah. You like how you could tell I'm an orc player. I'm like old Bale Eye.
Yeah.
Kane, the avatar of Kane would be the Eldar one. There's a baddest of the bad guy in each faction. Except for the Kroot, because the Kroot are the best boys. They're the only good guys. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, to take the tinfoil hat back off, there's no lore that suggests that. It's just it's looking at the meta and making guesses as to why we have these like big paragons. What's the opposite of a paragon? I guess paragon wouldn't be what you'd use. Antediluvian? No. Anyway, paragon of virtue. Fuck.
Arch
heretic of badness.
Heretic, yeah. I don't know.
But anyway, every faction has essentially a paragon, whatever an anti-paragon model. And the reason that we're trying to refrain from saying that the Space Marines are the good guys and the Chaos Space Marines are the bad guys is because the game system is very much written as everybody is the bad guy. I've kind of fallen on this opinion that the Warhammer universe is the ultimate expression of the Dark Forest. The Dark Forest theory being that every race in the galaxy is a hunter in a dark forest, and the first one to make a sound, every other hunter will target them to kill them. And like that's what the 40K is. The 40K is the Dark Forest game, making the concept of the Dark Forest into a game. But the future episode all on that, I imagine. But to
absolutely.
dive back into it, let's get to Inwit. Inwit was a world of death and ice, its star having become old and withered, bleeding off the last of its heat as cold red light. Tidally locked against its dying star, perpetual darkness soaked one side of the planet and faded sunlight brushed the other. Called the Splintered Lands, a twisted maze of canyons, frozen mountain ranges, and plains of frost dunes covered the planet's dark side. This beast-stalked wilderness shaped the peoples and the beliefs that claimed its ice wilderness as home. Under the ice crust, thick seas flow in sluggish tides, and pale and sightless creatures swam in its waters, hunting by vibration and preternatural taste for blood. Far above this desolation, great and ancient space stations and orbital shipyards looked down at a cold-shrouded world through perpetual auroras. Evidence of aeons lost to the dim stretches of history, these citadels of the void had gazed upon Inwit since a time lost to imperial history. On the planet, the light side of Inuit offered little more comfort than the dark side, being a land of drift-crusted saline seas and sparse bare rock under the unblinking gaze of a red sun. Inwit has little value. Its seas are buried or lifeless, its mountains bare of riches, and its native species are vicious. However, this harsh world produces one thing that led it to conquer a star cluster and endure as an island empire of order in the age of strife: its people. Barbaric, yet far from unsophisticated, the warrior people of the world are raised to endure and survive. Their home world teaches them never to relent and that the price of weakness is death, for them and the rest of their kin. We haven't covered a lot of the Space Marine worlds yet. And the reason we haven't done it is because we are going to cover each of the Primarchs in turn.
Worlds, yeah.
Yeah.
Inwit,
I believe our patrons are voting on
Yes.
what comes first. So if you would like to be part of the decision-making process on that, we do have a Patreon. And yeah, you can also see the episodes in video form. So we pull up images and I don't know, you can see us if that's something you're into.
you can
You
see
see the
our
cool
beautiful
shirt I'm wearing?
faces.
Oh yeah, your
That's
cool
right.
raccoon shirt.
Yeah, it's a
So-
raccoon with a gun, and it says strawberry jams, but my Glock don't.
I love it.
Because
love
yeah,
it.
Emmy gets a lot of free bizarre shirts for promotional purposes.
There you go. The reason that we decided to cover Inwit a little bit here is because Inwit has a much bigger role to play in the heresy. And Inwit and the siege of Inwit, which we're getting to, are most likely being I mean, they're not most likely. They're being expanded right now. These are areas of the lore that are currently being worked into Legio Imperialis, the game, and what is most likely going to be the 3rd edition release of Horus Heresy, which we're kind of expecting right around the corner. We try not to date the episode, but as we're starting to cover some of this later chunk of the Horus Heresy, we're just in the point where they're writing it now. We're being honest with you guys. That's why we included a little bit more on Inwit. We'll definitely come back to Inwit when we cover Dorn in a little bit more detail, but
Death visits in its many forms on Inwit, and the ice storms that can freeze and cover a man in seconds, at the claws of the predators that roam the splintered lands, and in the lapse and concentration that allows the cold to penetrate the warmth seals of a hold. This has led to people who are strong, grim, and dedicated to the survival of the whole rather than the individual. This is a lot like the upper Midwest. Definitely getting that energy.
Especially this week.
Yeah, definitely. Considering how many layers we put on to go for a walk
I'm wearing
in the dark at like 5:30 p.m. today.
I'm wearing leggings under jeans right now.
I'm wearing like a base layer. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
It's a thing. Yeah.
It's a thing. Much of the world's population is nomadic, moving between the subterranean ice hives to trade in weapons, fuel, and technology. Conflict between the roaming clans is common, and young warriors learn how to defend against their clan's enemies as early as they learn how to endure the merciless chill. In ages past, before even a dream of a unified Terra, during the darkness of old Earth, the people of Inwit began to create their realm in the stars. On every world they took, they assimilated, realigned, and reinforced. Their culture and learning grew with each conquest, but Inwit remained unchanged even as it became the center of a stellar empire. The ice hives and clan disputes remained, while their world birthed starships and ringed its orbits with weapon stations. Its rulers kept to the old ways, the ways that had created their strength, the warlords and matriarchs who commanded armies amongst the stars, still living lives little easier than their vassals. It was in this stellar empire that Rogal Dorn, our sandcastle boy, grew to manhood and ruled its domains as emperor. This isn't...
I thought I had a cheering one. There we go.
Look at that. This is your dollars at work, patrons. We have a soundboard now.
Please
That we
tell
don't
me
know how to use. No.
we didn't spend money on that. God, no.
No. This
it technically came with this. The sound effects we have came with the soundboard.
Okay, yeah. This isn't our coverage of the Primarch's history, only that of his world. We will reveal that the House of Dorn adopted him and that the clan's patriarch became his grandfather, a man who taught him much of tactics, strategy, and diplomacy. Dorn's qualities married perfectly with those of Inwit, and he pushed their empire further than any other. ordered and trained its armies and fashioned spacecraft, the likes of which had yet to be seen. When the true Emperor reunited with Rogal Dorn, he regained a lost son and the strength of a star-spanning society already forged into a weapon of conquest.
What
It
a
makes
guy.
so much sense to me
Yeah.
that Rogal Dorn is essentially from like Minnesota.
Well,
Space Minnesota.
Space
like,
Minnesota.
Yeah, this makes so much
He-
sense to me.
He was also an emperor in his own right. So,
Mhm.
and we'll get into this when we cover him as a Primarch and we cover his legion. But Rogal Dorn was an emperor when the emperor found him. The Inwit cluster was completely controlled by him, and they had these. Not only did they have these massive, like, inherited ships from the Dark Age of technology and the earliest parts of Dark Age of technology, but they also had all of these new ships that they had created. And the Phalanx being the really famous one, but there's a lot of other just stupid big, stupid, powerful Imperial fist things. This is one of those like stepping stones in the Great Crusade. When the Emperor found Mars, his strength doubled. When the Emperor and Mars found the Saturnine Polites, their strength, got 25% better or 50% better. It didn't double, but it definitely got better. When they found Horus, their tactical advantage became that much better. When they found Dorn, their weapons became that much better. Like, it just this is another stepping stone in that kind of like chain, that domino chain of taking over the galaxy. The
It's almost
interesting,
like it was planned.
yeah, like almost as if a bunch of writers, no, was really, really weird is like, it's super easy to look at stuff like that. But as I cover more history, like as I look at more modern history, I've never really been into like modern history. My history interest kind of dies off at like the beginning of like AD, like
Mhm.
AD 0 on. I care less about than
Exactly. When the like
yeah.
papyrus and the copper merchants go away and then we have
It's just not
taxes,
that.
it's like fuck that
It's
shit.
not that interesting.
Mm.
But as I've been getting more and more into like modern history, not getting more into modern history, but as I've been exploring more modern history, history is legitimately just filled with people like this. Like,
Mhm.
it's kind of fucking weird because, like, from a storytelling perspective, you're like, oh no, this dude's a Mary Sue because he has to be one. Okay, well then why did this one dude that fought in World War II actually do all this crazy shit and get injured like 90 fucking times? Why are there main characters in history? Why does it happen?
Look up like Ho Chi Minh, like fascinating
it's
person.
it's
right?
fucking, it's insane.
Yeah.
One of the things I find really interesting about Inwit, and I don't know how this happened, but we kind of developed Arconia into an Inwit style planet. It's Arconia isn't tidally locked, but it's this same sort of planet that's just perpetually bombarded by ice, and life is fucking tough. And we haven't really developed out from that. We don't have we do have a project. If you're interested in joining us on Discord, we have a very active Discord. We do a writing project, and our newest prompt, or our prompt that's coming up here pretty soon, is going to be about creating the Space Marine chapter that inhabits the area that is not one of ours. I have one, and Drew has one, and those are kind of, they each serve their own purposes, and they're kind of on the far flung outsides. But the area needs its own chapter, and we're going to work with our our Discord to come up with that. Chalk also has his own chapter as well, but I want to say they're again kind of like a periphery. They kind of exist on the outside. I also know that he's going a little bit more Forge World nowadays. So, but we're going to do that, and it's interesting to look at how these things happen. The other thing that I wonder, and there isn't a lot on Inwit, but I wonder if Inwit is an Ogren planet, because a lot of times the really cold planets with like really kind of shitty like territories breed Ogrins. And I wonder if Inwit doesn't quite breed Ogrins, but it breeds humans that are like Catachan. Like the whole idea
Mhm.
of like everyone on Catachan could become a space marine, and that's the reason that they don't make Catachans into space marines. Like that's kind of the idea of the Death World. I wonder if Inwit's the same style, but in this case, it's like Fenris. Fenris would be another Death World that falls into this style. Everyone on Inwit can become a space marine like that. Like it's just, let's just flip that switch. We're ready to go, boys. Anyway.
Yeah, they build them tough on Inwit for sure.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
But that's like a consistent theme too. Sorry, let me get back to the thing.
There's definitely there's a term for this in writing where essentially like Harry Potter would be an example. Every time Harry Potter and his friends conquered an issue at the school, the next issue had to be worse.
Right.
And it becomes it's a power level paradox.
Like escalating kind of thing.
Yeah, escalation. It's the escalation paradox. You always have to escalate. The problem always has to get bigger. And there's a little bit of that in the 40K universe. I'll definitely say that.
Yeah.
I think they balance it out by being like, oh yeah, there's also pleasure worlds. but like there's a book or 3 written about the Space Marines. Pleasure worlds, they're like, yeah, they're over there. They
It's a footnote.
It's not like we have a whole book about like somebody's shopping trip.
Oh my god, that would be an amazing book.
Trazen's Day Out.
Trazen's Big Day Out.
I guess the Infinite and the Divine is kind of a book about shopping.
Yeah. Let's talk the Siege of Inwit because this is going to be interesting. These are the fortification masters being sieged. So,
yeah.
Undertaken by dozens of trader fleets, each who sought to claim the prize of the Imperial Fist Legion's homeworld. The siege aimed to draw Rogal Dorn's attention away from Horus's advance on Terra by threatening the Inwit cluster. Initial loyalist reinforcements came from Imperial Fist contingents supported by the 789th Ice Bears Solar Auxilia cohort and the 79th Auxilia Armored cohort. However, as the siege intensified over the next 4 years, the Imperium could afford a few Legion Astartes reinforcements. Instead, pulling from the much larger forces of the Imperial Army and Mechanicum, with Legio Ignatum and House Tyrannus joining in the defense of Inwit itself. Eventually, a vast combined trader force, including World Eaters, Iron Warriors, and Thousand Sons, alongside a massive force of Chthonian headhunter Auxilia, would fight their way onto Inwit's surface. Combined with the trader blockade in the void, the remaining loyalists on the ground were forced to dig in and make a final stand. As the siege continued, the Imperial Fist would lose dozens of warships in desperate attempts to break the blockade and seek reinforcement. While the Imperial Fist frigate Astral Majesty was able to breach the blockade and reach the Dark Angel's forces, they soon found themselves requisitioned for Lionel Johnson's crusade of vengeance instead of relieving Inwit. Of course, the selfish prick the Lion. Warmaster Horus's increasing need for more force in the direct assault on Terra would begin to draw many traders away from the Inwit cluster, allowing a relief force of Salamander's Imperial Army and Mechanicum forces to reach Inwit and break the siege. In the wake of the traders' retreat, a sting of burning and wasted worlds were left across the Inwit cluster. This relief force would remain in defense of Inwit until the Scour, allowing Rogal Dorn to divert his Imperial Fists to Terra in preparation for the gathering assault of the War Master upon Throne. It kind of seems like at a certain point, like I get this was a good idea, but then it seems like the trader forces, the chaos kind of overcommitted a little bit and essentially spread themselves too thin, and now they're fighting a war on two fronts, essentially.
And it's interesting. So there's not a heck of a lot written about the Siege of Inwit. There is a blurb in the Legio Imperialis book, the core book. There is a blurb in White Dwarf 487, and there is a couple of blurbs in some of the other like books, but a lot of times they're kind of like, oh yeah, this happened, these were the people involved, done. The way that all of it, the way that I kind of, I take these like 4 or 5 different sources, and I kind of combine them, and then we've got a conversation. We have a conversation about what we kind of think is happening, and then we try to write the lore as close to a marrying of the multiple sources as we can. So we're giving you guys essentially the freshest actual, but the take that we hold out of the script that I want to add at this point is that I kind of feel like what's actually happening here is the traitor legions are sieging the entire cluster, and they're slowly tightening their fist down over this 4-year period until they land on Inwit. And when they land on Inwit, the shit hits the fan and everything gets really intense for a couple of months. I don't think it's that long. I think it's a couple of months. And then, this relief force comes and everything. And I think part of it's what you're saying, Drew, but I think the larger part of it is that this has absolutely nothing to do. How do I want to say this? Horus's plan has nothing to do with actually taking Inwit. However, Horus is manipulating the vanity of his brothers in order to make this happen. So he's like, "Oh, Fulgrim, you can't take the world. Oh, Mortarion, you possibly couldn't. Perturabo, he's so much better than you." And he's playing these little mind games because Horus's goal is to distract Rogal Dorn from building up the defenses of Terra. Horus doesn't give a shit about the Inwit cluster at all, except for the fact that it's this loose thread. It's this like wound in Rogal Dorn. It's the cut in the top of Rogal Dorn's mouth that he can poke a bunch to distract him. And he's manipulating his brothers. Horus is manipulating his brothers, though, to what you're saying. He's manipulating them, and then they, in their hubris, are overextending themselves and fucking up left and right. But yeah, it's interesting to see like what is Horus actually doing.
And also I think and you said that like there's an appeal to this because essentially there's an opportunity for huge bragging rights. Like anybody who can successfully siege and break Inwit would be sort of like legendary status, right? And that I think that is an attractive proposition for these like glory chasing nutbags. So, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't seem to. I don't know. Just like any of these situations, that nobody really seems to come out well.
We're definitely in the it's off the rails stage of the heresy on both sides. Both sides are
like at this point, like victories and losses are like razor thin, and really like in the end, regardless of who wins the battle, like everybody is just diminished more and more, right? Like it's just like I think this is, if anything, they're mining a little bit from the imagery of like late stage American Civil War, right? Where it's just like it didn't really like. Yes, this army won this battle, but like the casualties were so massive on both sides that like ultimately like who lost was the human race. Like it's like there's so many people who just died. It's just a horrible tragedy.
Yeah, 2 miles gained for a mile and a half lost or whatever. Yeah, it's
yeah.
So speaking of absolute massive losses of human life, we're going to talk about the carnage of Morax, which started in 009.m31 but ended in 053.m31. Isolated by warp storms, the sector of Morax descended into an all-out warfare for nearly 50 years, as loyalist and traitor-aligned Imperial forces clashed across 24 worlds. Deprived of communication with the larger galaxy, the people of the Morax sector were unaware of the continuing progress of the Horus Heresy. Instead, they fought their own brutal conflict to control the sector capital, the planet of Morax Excelsius. The resulting conflict raged for decades, and later records note the extreme violence and massive atrocities that were committed during it. Both sides lost sight of what and who they originally were, undergoing levels of technological regression. Numerous factions would form and collapse during the length of the conflict, and in time, the war for the Morax sector devolved into one of religious significance. The loyalist aligned 7,985th Solar Auxilia Armored Cohort laid the foundation for the development of a new religion. This new faith appeared to worship a figurehead melding together the veneration of the few remaining working machines with the deity whose mythological history mimics the rise of the emperor. Conversely, the traitor forces rallied behind depraved cults that, through means unknown, had gained the knowledge to summon warp entities. By the end of the conflict, at least 3 billion battlefield deaths had been recorded,
Jesus.
with entire planets transformed into dead worlds littered with bodies. The survivors of both sides warring using the few scraps of technology that remained operational. I have a really big theory here.
Okay.
I think the Carnage of Morax was originally written as an idea to have a Mordenheim style game set in 40K.
Oh, okay.
I think that the company moved on and the writer of the Carnage of Morax and this stuff went on to write Trench Crusade, because this is steeped in like the feel of Trench Crusade.
Okay.
Obviously, the religious iconography and a bunch of other stuff changes, but like think of the way that Trench Crusade is kind of like presented, and then think of like what we just read. Like it's fucking, this is fucking Trench Crusade. Like it's not, but it is.
Yeah. Like it's just you're right. Like I think it's just sort of like echoing what I said before. Like this just is like is so dark.
Yes.
Like at this point, it's just like every win is at best a horrific compromise of some kind.
Right.
Right. Like every victory still is steeped in loss. And it just keeps getting grimmer and grimmer, and we know we're headed towards this really sad, tragic end. You know.
Yep.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
The battles are getting worse. The stakes are getting higher, but no one's really winning anything. Yeah.
No.
I mean, like, honestly, like this whole time, right? You're like, how the fuck? There it is. There's the image Drew just put in the writer's room. There's the image that sums up the entire. This image is the entire thesis statement of this fucking episode. If you're watching the
Drew,
visual podcast,
you're not supposed to kill us. Like just so you're aware.
Yeah, no, we're both just kind of fucking dying over here. It's Katy Perry in her Witness era when she's got the blonde pixie with her basketballs being like, let the galaxy burn.
Wait. This is Katy Perry?
That's Katy Perry when she was possessed by the blonde pixie cut demon.
I honestly thought it was, what's her nuts? The first one.
Miley.
That one. I thought it was Miley.
Yeah, because the demon went into Miley. Miley recorded Bangers, the album.
Right.
Did that shit at the VMAs. And then, like, 3 years later, the demon infested Katy Perry. She released that horrible album, Witness, made that horrible track, the single, where she's, like, playing basketball with Nicki Minaj. It's very bad.
Before this, it was in Pink. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, I mean, Pink still has that demon inside of her to this day.
The only person in the entirety of culture that had this demon that didn't get completely messed up by it was Lori Petty in the Tank Girl movie.
Yeah. So this blonde pixie cut demon is Horus, guys. And this is what found Horus on the moon of Davin that started this whole fucking thing anyways. So, yeah. Anyways,
we thought he was
outro.
Dead.
And that will wrap it up for this chunk of our coverage on the Horus Heresy. Next week, we will be back with our Sanguinilla special, and we think you guys will like it. And then we are going to take a couple of episodes to focus specifically on who the Remembrancers were before we take our customary break where we do Aloris Obscurus and a couple of other episodes before we jump back into things. But don't worry, we have more Horus Heresy content for you coming in 2025, including 2 battles that I know at least Emmy and I are super excited about the Battle of Tolaron and the Battle of Beta Garmin.
The Battle of Beta
Oh yeah,
Garmin.
we got some biggies.
I am so excited. Titanfall, so fun.
Oh yeah.
I can maybe do my Chaos Titan cosplay again.
There you go.
I'm gonna need some more cardboard boxes for that. It was really cool the first time we found this like cardboard insert in like, what was it, an air fryer box that was like perfectly shaped like a chaos star.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
It was an Instant Pot.
An Instant Pot, thank you. It was another one of those
hell yeah. I love
multi-cooker type appliances. But yeah, it was like the perfect chaos star, and then I had that chainsaw helmet. It was such a good cosplay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. My very special.
Anyways.
I have a question. Okay, so if there was a 40K, if there was a chaos 40K themed restaurant, I'm sorry, you were putting the chaos symbol over your. This is your fault. What would
my chaos titties?
What would it be? Because that's what you were doing. But if there was a 40K chaos themed restaurant, what would it be called, and how would the girls dress?
It's called Purple Nurgles, which is like a play on Purple Nurple, and the girls are dressed. I want to say like the demonettes of Slanesh.
Okay.
But like with the one titty out, you know?
Wait, can we get away with that? I mean, Twin Peaks
with a pasty. If you put a pasty on the nip.
What if it's a nurgling pasty?
Me.
Look, Games Workshop has a proud tradition of putting small, upsetting faces on bodies where they shouldn't be. So why not?
Like my Death Guard.
It's got to be the nurgling in the helmet who's looking over his shoulder that has the big dump truck ass as a pasty on the one exposed breast.
Yeah, and then otherwise they kind of, I don't know, like I feel like they should have, like, depending on what section you see in, either it's like sexy Zinch girls, sexy Slanesh girls.
Okay, so it changes each time. Okay.
And like maybe they have like Great Horned Rat Nights like once a month.
Okay.
Where the girls dress in like furs and like horns and throw the Skaven sign, you know,
that becomes
on the ass on like little booty shorts.
Ass on the booty.
Yeah, it's like a little like fur top and bottom matching little two-piece set with the Skaven symbol, and it's like it's like a velvet, and this Skaven symbol is in rhinestones on the ass.
I love it.
Yeah.
Their signature drink is the Life Eater, and it's an adios motherfucker, but you turn a Monster Energy drink upside down into the top of it. Okay. I don't know why it was the you kept doing the hand symbol. I'm sorry, you kept doing the hand symbols, and my brain
like,
went to
I think it would be hilarious though, like
inappropriate place.
You know, there's so many like really punny dishes that they could do.
Yeah.
And
this is our retirement from the podcast life when we start.
Oh, absolutely.
When we start a restaurant that's 40K.
You know what we should do though?
The purple Nurgle. I love it.
Because I hate them so much. We should just buy all the Twin Peaks.
I was trying to find out if there was I was trying to find out if there was one near me. Okay, so here's what led me to the weird restaurant journey today.
Okay.
I heard through, I want to say somebody on Blue Sky, that there is a restaurant called Twin Peaks. And my brain immediately went to the television show. I'm like, there is a Twin Peaks. I need to
Twin
go.
Peaks.
And then I looked it up and I was like, wait a minute. This is not the television show.
Yeah, Twin Peaks only offers the uniforms in size small and extra small. And
oh my God, based on some of the pictures I saw, those are not extra small bosomed girls.
No,
they are squeezing
have to really
a lot.
tie that.
They're squeezing a lot of real estate into a small. Whoa, okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
There's a lot of very intense pressure to not have your own tits to really like get those done.
But this is the Midwest. There's so many people with normal ones that are big.
I mean, having huge naturals is not something I can relate to. And honestly, like,
That's my huge
this
natural.
is really
I'm
devolved,
sorry.
but what I'm saying is that there's a lot of really intense and frankly just really sexist and awful labor practices at Twin Peaks, and me in my daytime career as an HR lady, there's a lot of things about their hiring, firing, training,
Ugh.
and general operations that just make me want to scream.
I imagine they're all pretty bad, but I just
Hooters
Yeah.
is awful too. They are like, it's more of an audition than an interview process, and frankly, half of the things that they ask in the application are pretty morally gray.
Oh yeah.
And I just
Yeah.
the amount of lawsuits that both of these places have dealt with as a result of a lot of their practices has been interesting.
About what you would expect.
About what you would
from
expect.
a demon chaos owned business.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey, you know
exactly.
what? If there's one lesson we've learned here, it's
Demons shouldn't
the
own businesses. No.
girls of Twin Peaks, ladies of Hooters, there's a bunch of you out there. You should fucking unionize, for God's sake.
Oh my God.
And
Because
if you're the
all
Twins
the things
Peaks
that are
ladies,
happening, that shit is mostly illegal.
Yeah.
Sue the shit out of them. Burden of proof is on your employer. When in doubt, sue the shit out of your employer. If it seems wrong, sue them.
And if you unionize, Twin Peaks ladies, if you unionize, please somehow figure out how to own the restaurant and make it a David Lynch themed restaurant chain. I will eat there. Anyway, if you guys want to get into contact with us about this episode or the show itself, you can reach out to us by email at underthehiveofmadness@gmail.com.
You can join our growing community on Discord and become part of the conversation about existing lore, world building, gaming, and much more. Find the podcast. Oh, geez. I just said that real Midwestern.
Are we teaching people? Oh, okay. I always thinking we were teaching people how to scuba dive. The podcast.
The podcast. No, that was like a... Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez.
Don't
Oh,
you
Jiminy
know?
Christmas. Don't you know? Oh, for heck's sake. All right. Sorry.
Oh, my gosh.
Find the podcast on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, or check out our website at underthehiveofmadness.com. Check out our link tree to find links to keep up with everyone in the cast's hobby progress and other projects.
Help the podcast.
Help the podcast.
We're really good at not pronouncing.
Yeah, we're having a great time. Help the podcast grow by liking and reviewing us wherever you get podcast fix. Our home is Spotify, but you can find us on Audible, Apple Podcasts, Castbox, iHeartRadio, Radio Public, and more. As always, links and spellings can be found in our show notes. Support us through Patreon at patreon.com/underthehiveofmadness. Join a fantastic crew of Hivers for access to extra content and a chance to snag some cool merch in our monthly giveaways, like space toilets. They're coming.
Yeah. We'll have
I'm so excited.
We'll have
for
a
the space
giveaway
toilets.
raffle next week.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there'll be a sneak peek up. Misfit Alley. Never have we encountered a more wretched hive of the nutty and debaucherous, hiding some of the hive's best kept foodie secrets, plus more fire jugglers and street fights than you can shake your fist at. Check out this month's musical acts, and remember, down here, the carnival of mischief never ends. Shearing away from the very edge of reason, we are the manifested maniacs of the pirate Voxwave, 665.66 UHMR Chemrat Radio. Reminding all of you chemrats, hive mice, and sump ghoulies to keep those dials fixed right here. Same ratty frequency for a dose of the same ratty ass attitude. Where the darkness embraces humanity's soft glow, the four-armed emperors writhe, a blasphemous union of celestial terror and chthonic decay, foretelling the frostbitten abyss of Innsmouth's unyielding immortality. Whispers slither through the aether, weaving threads of madness throughout reality's fragile pattern. summoned on tides of pestilence and despair beneath the pale glow of artificial night. Ice shudders. Disciples rise, bound by ichor and faith to those profane masters. Each step echoes like a death knell, reverberating through the icy corridors, spreading dread to any who dare listen. A glimpse invites doom, for their gaze swallows will, and their touch promises a quick descent into frozen oblivion.
Very nice, very nice.
I always remember reading a motherfucking book.
And brush your goddamn